Because I know people in my school that are like within violence, but just not as deep as you would find the gang member on BBC News. But they're on their way, and it's okay. Who are we going to find to be able to stop them? Because if it was a white girl, the school would stop them. But who's gonna stop the black boy that's always in persistent defiance, that's always in isolation?
So what do you think as a young girl, because it's about your voice now, we need to hear, what do you think should be done?
The school system needs to change, and I don't care how many teachers you have to fire and how many teachers you have to hire, but you need to find some that actually are there to teach their students not only the subject that they're meant to teach, but teach them the right way to go about life.
Echoes of our community.
Hello. Welcome to Echoes of Our Community. Echoes of Our Community is a platform, is a podcast where we have various episodes where we speak to lots of wonderful people who share their stories, their vulnerabilities in terms of what has impacted on their lives, so that the community we serve can learn, so that the professionals and even the system itself can actually relate to. So this is Echoes of Our Community. We want to encourage you, if you have not already, please share, like, and subscribe. We've been having wonderful conversations, and today I have a wonderful young, I always say we have young people, but this lady is young, and she's just 15, but we've taken consent from mom, and she's here today, and I'm going to get her to introduce herself. So join me to meet Kemi, and we're talking about youth violence again today.
Hi, I'm Kemi, and I'm a student in South London.
Okay. Is there much more to you, Kemi? What do you like? Who are you? Tell me about your likes and dislikes. Who is Kemi? Yeah.
I like to cook and bake. I do enjoy being in the kitchen, although mum would argue that I don't like to clean up. But I think that's an argument for a different day. And I also like F1, so shout out to all my F1 fans out there.
What's F1? Oh,
Formula One.
Okay.
Formula One. I do like Formula One motorsport. I am very engrossed into that, actually. And I'm interested in engineering.
Is that what you aspire to become, an engineer?
That's what I aspire to do.
Okay. And about family, are you the only girl, only child?
I'm the only girl, and I have 3 brothers. I call them my brothers, but technically they are my half brothers. But to me, it's
and they spoil. Tell me, they spoil you rotten.
Oh, they spoil even these shoes that I'm wearing. They bought them for me.
So yeah, and you can run to them if mom does anything that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I know that. I like that a lot, really. Are you into sport? Look, you said Formula One. No, football?
I used to in primary school. I did every sport under the sun. I did gymnastics, I did tag rugby, I did cricket, I did hockey, I did football. And then I realized I actually don't like any of these sports.
Oh.
So, no, I don't do any sports right now.
Okay. Are you interested in football? Arsenal?
Were
you part of that?
My brothers support Arsenal, so if someone asks me what team I support, I do say Arsenal. So I am happy
excited.
I was happy that they won the Premier League, yeah. But I can't say that I'm an avid football watcher. If Dad was to put football on the TV, I would be going to my room. Just because it's not necessarily that I don't enjoy watching it, but I don't enjoy watching it on a regular basis.
I hear you.
I feel like football is something that can just be a little sprinkle on the side. Just a bit like a bit of salt. You don't need a lot, just a little bit.
It's amazing to see, as a young girl, how do you feel being a young woman? Because you are a young woman now. I've heard a lot about the sports and the games and things like that. So what's and becoming an engineer? So it's everything. Is it because of the influence of your brothers? Is that just you, or what? Who do you have around you? Friends as well?
Well, my dad is a civil engineer. So I always knew from young that he was doing engineering with like things like network rail and things. And at a young age, I also realized that I like taking things apart and I like putting them back together again. And even now, like the other day, my friend had a flashlight, like a little flashlight on a keychain, and the battery wasn't working. And I was like, give it here. I'm going to find out why it's not working. And during my lunchtime, I took it apart. I found out why it wasn't working, and I put it back together. She ended up not wanting it anymore, so I went to show my physics teacher, and I did get positive points for that. So
Wow.
that's going on my school record for the end of the year. Hopefully, that will look good on my P point record.
So now let's talk about the things that, oh my days, is about community. I don't know whether you have any thoughts on being you at home, but have you seen or have you felt or experienced this issue about violence and young people? Do you go out there? What's it? What do you think?
I mean, currently where I live, you would classify it as the suburbs, but I think as time goes on, it's becoming less and less like the suburbs, because other places have like in where I live, there's a big like shopping centres, there's a shop, there's a high street, etc., etc. So that's where everyone likes to congregate. So when it comes to like the end of term, the council and the local police department will send out a notice to all the schools, to parents, etc., and be like, children under the age of 16 cannot come in without an adult. And that happened because about maybe 3 years ago now, during one of the, mass school children in the town centre, someone got stabbed. And since that, the council was very vigilant, like, okay, now no one's allowed in on the last day of term, the last day of school, because people gathered together to partake in violence.
Wow. And it's been very consistent. That rule has been consistent.
Has been consistent. Since they implemented it, they have not stopped it.
But has there been? Oh, that's outside in the community. But about in school, have you experienced? Have you seen
In school,
anything?
well, I go to an all-girls school, so I can't say that necessarily I've seen any fights. The last fight I saw was maybe in like year 7, and I'm in year 10 now, although that fight was very interesting to watch. But yeah, I think maybe it's because it's a girls' school. We don't necessarily like to fight with our fists, but with our words.
It's still violent, so it doesn't matter. So I think we need to actually look at the interpretation and the translation. So violence doesn't necessarily have to be with the fist; it can be anyhow. So that might be an interesting angle to point out as well. So
yeah, I mean,
especially with being the bitchiness as well.
Yeah, there's always the stereotype of girls being very vicious with our tongues, and it kind of links back to, in my English lesson, actually, we're doing Beth, and they were saying the Jacobean woman, she may not have much power, but all her power is within her tongue. And that's because in a male-dominated world, of course, women don't really have much say. But in every household, the wife is always dictating to the husband what she should do behind closed doors. And I think that's also very important. So you will always hear someone being cussed out one way or another in lunchtime, or, oh, I'm going to go and confront this person. I personally don't like that saying. It's not to say that I'm not confrontational, but I say, oh, going to confront this person means you're going to start an argument with this person, when that's not necessarily what they are trying to do. It's normally like a petty situation, like this person said this to someone and you're not quite happy with what they said or how they say it. So instead of saying, okay, I'm going to go confront this person, be like, okay, I'm going to go have a conversation with this person, because at the end of the day, that's what you're trying to do. Will it end up being a conversation? Probably not, because of your attitude of confronting them. But with all my friends, the advice I give is, you sit down and have a conversation. You're not going to go up to them in their friend group in the middle of the lunch and start shouting and be like why are you chatting about me behind my back? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Because it's not necessary.
And that's why I said that violence can be you can breed it through the way you understand, and maybe if they're boyfriends as that, and all the fighting on the street is like maybe they're fighting over girls or fighting over boyfriends, and yeah. Have you heard any of that?
There was, I mean, the fight that I witnessed in year 7, it was over a boy.
Wow.
Because the girl had a boyfriend and that boyfriend was cheating on her with the other girl. And instead of which I found very bizarre, because instead of fighting with the boyfriend, because he was the one that was cheating, she was fighting with the other girl. And I'm like,
they do that a lot.
Why are you two fighting each other when the man is clearly the problem here? But honestly, I don't know why people
Yep.
do this at this point.
Right,
It's
yeah.
just very, and then there's lots of empty threats, or, oh, if we were in a fight, I could do this. People have said that to me before, and it's like, if we were actually in a fight, I'm going to be honest, I would win. But I'm not going to fight you because I can't be bothered. Like, genuinely, so many people have tried to be like, oh, try to start problems with me. And it's not that I couldn't retaliate or I couldn't be able to talk them down. It's just that I can't be bothered. Like, so in the grand scheme of things, this is such a tiny problem.
I think that's the
It's
problem we
like,
have in society. People don't see the grand thing. They don't see the bigger picture, do they?
no, and it's very, she did this right now, so I must do this right now. And it's like, how about you sit and think about actually how this is going to affect you in the long run, and think, actually not do this in anger, but do this as to try and move forward. And I find myself saying that a lot to my friends, like, okay, you're angry. If you go and talk to this person angry, it's not going to fix anything. And I think that's something in society as well. Everyone is doing all these things out of anger. But once we're angry now and we've done whatever, once you're angry and you've gone to slap this girl, okay, now you're sitting in isolation and you're not angry anymore, and you're wishing that you didn't slap her because now you've got that thing on your record. And it's like, if you had taken the time to sit down and think, okay, what's the rational way to do this, you wouldn't be in the situation. And that's the same thing with physical fights, whether it's fights verbally, whether it's stabbings. All of these things are acts of anger. And if people just took the time to actually think about their actions and have a bit of forethought, then things like this wouldn't happen as often as they do.
I think there's also the argument that people might, even if they have the opportunity to think about it, maybe the stubbornness or the pressure or the peer thing will not let them or not allow them. So they're just going to do it, isn't it? Or they want to retaliate.
Yeah. So I think, and with that, that's an issue in itself. I don't think most rational people, I would say that if they were able to sit down and think about it before they did something, it would be a better result. But if they've been able to sit down and they've thought about it and they're still angry, now that's holding a grudge. And then holding grudges against people, that's a different issue in itself.
Yes.
And that needs to be addressed, rather than, okay, you need to calm down. It's like, okay, you need to start forgiving people, because you're not helping yourself. Because people always tell me, oh, Kemi, I'm tired of the drama. I don't want to be beefing this girl anymore. She's always beefing me. And I'm like, no, darling, it's you that's beefing her, because you won't forgive her and you won't let it go.
There's a lot of unforgiveness around.
Too much unforgiveness. And it's like, everyone's like, oh no, I don't want to forgive her. And it's like, just because you forgive her doesn't mean you have to be friends again. It just means forgiveness is not persecuting someone for their wrongdoings anymore. So to forgive someone would to not be angry at them anymore. It doesn't mean that you have to be friends with them. You can be friends from a distance. You don't have to share the same amount of things that you did before, because again, it's also about learning. When people have wronged you, you learn, okay, this is what this person is capable of.
And you know your boundaries and
yeah,
your
know
expectations.
you reset the boundaries. And it doesn't mean that everything's all torn and forgotten. Sometimes it does, but it doesn't always have to.
Do you think social media, now let's go there. Are you on social media?
Not really, but I do have Snapchat, and I have seen some stuff on Snapchat.
What?
If you remember the school wars, do you remember school wars?
Yeah.
My friend had reposted the other person that they had on Snapchat, their quote unquote joke, during the school wars, and it was like, I'm not bringing my ruler shank, I'm bringing my actual shank. And they had a photo of their weapon, and I was like, first of all, why? Because honestly, like, I don't know what you think you could achieve with that. Second of
They
all,
don't think that wide.
is this really something to boast about? A lot of people are boasting about things that aren't really things that you should be proud of. Like, are you going to look at yourself 10 years down the line and be like, yeah, pat on my back, that was a great idea? Probably not. So why are we thinking, yeah, the first thing I'm going to do when I buy this illegal weapon is post it on my story and be like, yeah, boys, look what your man's got.
I don't think they think like that.
They don't think full stop. And I think that's something that needs to be like, we need to start bringing back forethought, because you're not thinking about what you're doing before you do it. You need to actually assess your situation. It's like, no, this man has wronged me. I'm gonna go buy a knife and I'm gonna go shank him. And is that really the smartest thing to do? Is that really gonna end your problem, or is that gonna create more problems
It's a
for
lot.
you?
There's a lot of things about carrying a weapon. Some people will argue, especially where there's trauma, and I don't know whether you know any of this. When they carry a weapon to school because it's for protection, because they want to protect themselves. They don't. They say they're not going to use it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's what they all say, isn't it? They all say that they're gonna carry it for protection, that if anyone tries it, only then will they use it, and then they end up being the perpetrator.
that's it. And so that's where the challenges are. Have you ever been afraid of hearing these things, or what's so going out or coming in or being
I
at
mean,
places, or are there places you'd rather not go because of the
those
things you hear?
I wouldn't say, because of like how I am rooted in who I am, I can't say I would never like go to this place, if that makes sense. Obviously, I'm not going to go to somewhere that I know is dangerous, because that's being stupid. But I can't say that if I'm going somewhere, I am always fearful, because I have the Lord on my side. But there are things where it's like, okay, for example, if I'm in my school uniform, I'm not going to go over to this borough, because then technically I'm in ends and I don't want to start that problem for myself. So if I said I wanted to go to that borough, I would change my clothes,
So do
because
they
that would be the smarter idea to do.
So,
If that makes
so,
sense.
so with your school uniform, they have problems. So in the way,
I mean, not necessarily have problems, but then it's like, oh, we don't recognize this school. Who are you? What are you doing in my ends?
is
Kind
that
of
what they
thing.
do? Is that-
I mean, I've seen it. It hasn't happened to me, thank God, but
yeah,
I've seen it. And especially since that school wars, it's been that person's from that school, they're on the op side. Let's
What's
go,
upside?
like opposite. Op stands for opposition. So it's like, they're on the enemy, they're the enemy team, they're on the op side. Let's go and cause trouble or whatever.
Wow. So you have to change your uniform.
I mean, sometimes I don't always, but sometimes actually, okay, depending on the time of day, depending where I'm going, it's like maybe the smart idea is to change my uniform. Or if I'm not going to go in my uniform, I don't even like looking at anybody in general. But when I'm in my school uniform and I'm not going like to from or from school, I'm not looking at anybody. I'm not trying to do nothing, because even just as a black person, that's trouble number one. Being a girl, trouble number two. And then being in a borough with a different school uniform, trouble number three.
Wow.
So it's like, okay, you know what? I'm not looking at anybody. I've got my headphones in. I'm looking at my phone. Sometimes I'm not even looking at anything important. I'm just looking at random things. So it's like, oh, no, I can't have been looking at you because I was looking at my phone. You know what I mean? Like,
It is something else. Trouble number. I was just thinking number one, number two, number three. Black girl, uniform, and wait.
Yeah.
Oh
Who
gosh,
I am.
wow. It's a good thing that you're a bit more confident. Not everybody's that confident. Not everybody will say they put their earphones on and nothing happens, because people can just get hit or
Yeah. I mean, I think as well, it's like most, I would say, that of encounters that I've seen, it's all been reactional, because they felt that you've looked at them somehow, or they felt that you were laughing at them behind their back or whatever. They felt an offense that you somehow did. But if it's just like you've genuinely not done anything and they've just come at you and done something, then obviously those acts of like malicious violence is something that genuinely needs to be addressed, because people have so much hatred.
yes.
Like, to do that, you have to have so much hatred, like completely unprovoked. That is my like definition of hate.
The world we live in now, the society we live in now, especially with extremism and have you heard anything? Have you had any thoughts about especially the white supremacists and people trying to be careful, especially with what we're doing with people of color, how we're working? Do you have any?
I mean, in my school, even the area that I live in is predominantly white area. So I mean, I'm thankful that the primary school I went to was actually quite diverse. But I do remember going into secondary school and actually realizing, like, okay, I am a minority here. Like, there's not many people that are like a person of color. And sometimes if they are, they're heavily influenced by white people and they don't actually claim their culture because
Yes.
they don't want to be bullied. And it's like, okay, I know who I am. I know that I am Nigerian, and to find other people that identify with their culture the same way that I do, it's actually quite hard. So then it's like, okay, I can find other friends, but then it's like, I can't relate to you on all like the same levels that I can relate to my black friends outside of school.
So, were you ever bullied?
I can't say that I was. People, I mean, I've been defined as popular in my school. Personally, I haven't like, I didn't believe that I was popular. Looking back, maybe I am, because I'm quite connected with the people in my school. Like, as I go down the corridor, I'll say hello to people, people say hello to me. But I think as well, I think, I don't know, it's something about me. People know that I don't take nonsense, because it's
You're
like
like me, your mom.
people people have said things to me and I'm like, have you lost your mind? Like, who do you think you are trying to say that to me? And again, like, people have tried to step to me. I'm like, this is not my problem. Like, people are trying to make problems with me that their beef with is with someone else in the first place. And it's like, I don't know why you're trying to collate me with these people when I'm my own person. Go and find your beef somewhere else because it's not mine. And when I say things like that, people are like surprised, like, oh, I didn't think you would say that, or oh,
They
I
were
didn't
trying
think
it
you
on,
that.
really.
Yeah, like, you don't test me and then be surprised when I give you the answer you're not waiting for. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. And then I think there was one time where one girl had tried to lay hands on me and I was like, and she's like, I didn't know you were that strong. And I was like, well, because
Oh,
that's why I don't fight people. Like, do you think that I'm trying to get into fights just to then end up injuring someone and then it's going to be my problem? Like, not
wow.
about that.
I think it takes discipline and knowing who you are to say, I don't want to get into a fight.
Mm.
And makes you a strong person to say, I'm not doing that. Even though I could, I'm not doing it. Have you ever felt tempted?
I have been tempted. There's some people that have really crossed a line, and it's like, if it wasn't for my love of God,
You would have.
I would have deleted you. But you just have to thank God for patience, because there's been some times where I've been awfully close, or even for teachers. Don't get me started with teachers. There's some teachers that deserve the whole outflow of words that I have stored for them, but I won't say it.
Mm.
I won't say it because it's not gonna be of any benefit to me.
I suppose that's where, as a young girl, young black girl, you have to hold yourself, you have to hold your tongue, and it takes a
Because then
lot.
even just replying in the polite way, because I'll give you an example. Um, it was after form time in my school, and I was waiting outside my friend's form so we could go home together. And the form tutor had started like letting a couple people out. So it was an outward opening door. So I held the door open to wait for my friend to come out so we could leave together. And the form tutor comes out and she's around similar height to me. I'm maybe like a couple centimeters taller than her. And there's not a there's less space than it is between me and you. Right. And she's shouting and she's like, what did she say? She's like, oh, what's your name? I asked why. She's like, no, sorry. She asked me where my lanyard is, because in my school we have lanyards to identify ourselves. I say that I didn't have it that day. So I had a lanyard sticker. She asked me my lanyard sticker, which was in my hand. And I said, there's actually nothing written on this lanyard sticker because I got it at like lunch. So I didn't write anything on it. And she snatched a sticker from my hand and she asked me what my name was. And the only word that I said to her was why. And she said, I'm reporting you to your head of year, and then closed the door in my face. I was like, okay. She didn't know my name, so I was like, I don't know how she's going to even report me to my head of year. And me and my head of year, we speak frequently as well. So it's not like, oh, like my head of year knows that I'm this troublesome child or whatever. So I said to my friend, like, what's she gonna say? Oh, this black girl did this, because my head of year is black, as a black woman too. So if she was to go ahead and say that, that would in itself cause an issue. Anyways, come back to school the next day to find out that I've been given a sanction, one of the highest sanctions you could get in that school. And I emailed my head of key stage and was like, this is what happened. I don't know why this has happened. Can you help me sort it out, etc. Ended up being a whole kind of like, what's it called? It's left my brain. Yeah, I had to write like a statement and things like that. I ended up not having to do the sanction.
How did
But
she
it was
get
just
your
like,
name?
I think it was from my form tutor, and my form tutor's a snake, but we're not going to go into that. But I think it was from my form tutor, but I was just like, what? It was a C3 for persistent defiance. A C3 is with SLT, like detention for like an hour and 30 minutes. And like a normal detention is like 15 minutes. So
Wow.
so C3, that's the highest detention she can give.
Wow.
Persistent defiance.
Persistent, but that you
I
just
asked her why.
once, yeah.
And part of me was like, okay, so what did I do wrong in that situation? Okay, I could have given her my name, but it's not even like she gave me a chance to give her my name, because as soon as I asked why, that was the conversation done in her eyes, and she was reporting me to my head of year. And then it leads me to wonder, okay, well, I was polite, I didn't shout back, I wasn't giving her any dirty looks, I was being calm. So why did this happen to me? And it's an annoying fact that's like, okay, most likely option was because I'm black and I'm obviously a young black girl. Oh, I'm aggressive, I'm this, I'm that. And it's a hard truth actually, because it's quite painful to think, okay, like I've followed everything by the book and yet misfortune still comes my way. How is that possible? Because what's it? Molly over there is doing just fine and she's done worse than me. Or, oh, Eva over there has chatted back to a teacher, but she's still sitting in that classroom.
It just goes to show. So you're in a system, a school system, but you're still going to go out into the world system. So I suppose it's a training ground for you to see that is the world we live in. It's not really that fair, really, and it's about how do you stand.
And then all that disappointment in itself pushes young people into violence, especially people of color, because it's like, okay, this is in the school system that's meant to protect me, I'm not protected, so I'm going to find my own way to do it. I'm gonna forge my own path, and I'm going to take matters into my own hands. And those kind of like manifestos are then what gets people into violence, what gets people into gangs and things like that.
I suppose because you are in a way, in quote, protected, you've got where you live and how and with God as well. It puts you in a good place, but not every young person is in that place.
And I can't even say, oh, like, because I know people in my school that are like within violence, but just not as deep as you would find the gang member on BBC News. But they're on their way. And it's okay, who are we going to find to be able to stop them? Because if it was a white girl, the school would stop them. But who's gonna stop the black boy that's always in persistent defiance, that's always in isolation?
So what do you think as a young girl? Because it's about your voice now. It's about, we need to hear, what do you think should be done?
I think the school system needs to change. School system needs to change. And I don't care how many teachers you have to fire and how many teachers you have to hire, but you need to find some that actually are there to teach their students not only the subject that they're meant to teach, but teach them the right way to go about life.
I suppose, especially if you talk to your mom as well, we've been talking about cultural competence as well within schools. Do the schools, so even if they do hire teachers, How competent are they, apart from teaching their subjects, in understanding the diverse nature of students and their culture and where they're coming from, the trauma that these young people go through? They might be going through domestic violence, they might be going through issues at home. How do we support them? And like you said, maybe some are being more supported, our white counterparts are being more supported than the black. But what do we do about that? So, yeah. Do you ever think about where can you stand apart from being an engineer and sitting on places? Have you ever thought about that?
I mean, recently actually, my school joined the trust in my school joined this organization called Hemisphere, and they are basically like this anti-racism campaign, and they do like anti-racism training for staff and for students. And the school decided, okay, we're gonna make a pilot group. So they basically picked the very few people that were black within year 9 and year 10. I think there was maybe like 3 white girls in there as well. And they were like, okay, we're going to get you to do the training. Then we want your feedback and things like that. So we did the training. And then on the feedback day, I was like, it gives very low to little understanding of what it's like to be a black person in this system. And the teacher asked me, okay, why? And I was like, because the briefing before was like, okay, it's going to be on like, Afro-Caribbean culture. And there was little bits, things about hair, things about, jokes that weren't really thought through, unconscious bias, etc., etc. But for me, at least, like in this age, it's not all these little nudges like, oh, this hurts this person, this hurts this. Like, we need someone
It's just
strong.
like token. There was just like token.
We need someone strong testimony, that bulldozer that's going to send their world crashing down. Like, okay, now I see what is right and what is wrong, and this is how I need to change it. And no hate to Hemisphere, because I understand what they are trying to do, and obviously they have to do it in a certain way that's not going to cause any offense to people. But I think there's some people that need to be offended, because if they're not offended, they won't change.
I hear you.
So the teacher was saying to me, okay, are you able to come up with materials that we can do this with? And yes, I am open to come up with materials, but it shouldn't be the child's job to take the role of the teacher. You have a department assigned to diversity. You have an department designed to PSHE.
The welfare, there's a lot.
So why are you asking me now? Where was this when I was in year 7? Where was this when I was in year 8 and year 9? Where I was going, and where is this now? Because they still haven't rolled out to the whole school yet. And if I'm going to be honest, it's not going to do enough.
Wow.
It's not going to do enough. And you sit back and wonder, okay, so what is going to be enough? Will it ever be enough? You know what I mean?
Will it ever be enough? Wow. There's a lot to unpack here. And it's important to talk about this from this age now, because we are in a system whereby we're always, I think we're fighting, we're trying to, it's like the situation has happened. There's the crisis, we're reacting to a crisis. Why can't we do more on prevention? And that's where we're looking at, and getting the voices of young people. What do they listen? I think one of the episodes we had, we looked at the fact that, yes, the situations, there can be solutions, but do we have enough time? Have we developed enough trust? And hearing people like you said, should it be your job? What do they need to hear you? And if they hear you, what are they doing about your voice as well? And I think that's it. Or are they just ticking a box? There's so much to unpack here. And I don't think we're going to finish that today, but we've started something here, Kemi, and I want to say thank you.
Thank
do
you for
you
having
think, just so that we just leave on a high, just tell the viewers something about, yes, what you think about the solutions, or what you feel that what's happening and what we can do together for our community?
I think that what we're doing now is a step in the right direction. Although many more steps need to be taken, I think that we can get there eventually. I just don't know if it's quick enough.
So you've heard Kemi. We don't know whether it's quick enough. we're looking at youth violence, but from a different perspective today. We've heard about it being on the street, but even within the school system, it's there, but it's very subtle. And we've heard today the different angles, even from the verbal violence and the not just the physical, but the verbal, from dressing, from things like that. So it's a conversation that needs to go on, and we're looking forward to hearing more. So if you have anything to say, please share, and let's hear your voice as well on Echoes of Our Community. I want to say thank you, Kemi, once
Thank
again.
you for having
I wish you
me.
the best, and I'm hoping to have you back again very soon.
Me
Thank
too.
you.
Thank
See you
you.
next time on Echoes of Our Community. I'm Margaret Taribo. Don't forget my name. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Stories told, connections formed, we find our place. Echoes of our